This is it, last drive of the season. London is turning into a beautiful sea of orange and red. It's a beautiful, crisp fall day, and I'm out for a final run before I start tearing the car down. To date, I've been doing work to get the car going. All maintenance, all so that the car will run and drive nicely, and it's pretty good. So, now we're entering into phase 2. Phase 2 is going to come with some modifications. But seeing as how I inherited this car, there are some rules. See, it's not just my vision for this car, it was my cousin Lucas's car, and I want to make sure I stay true to his vision, so that'll be kind of fun. So any of the parts that he's touched, that he specifically put on this car, have to stay. Phase 2 is going to be some minor mods. Well, maybe not minor. We'll see how it goes. The cool thing about this project is I'm never going to sell the car. It's always going to stay in the family, so we're never worried about resale. That said, I want to keep the car so that I can reverse any mods that we do. So sheet metal work is out. Wheel flares, things like that, I don't want to be getting into because they're really hard to reverse. But we can do some rest of mod stuff and try to keep bolt-on parts or anything like that going. Nice thing is the engine is not original to the car. That's already strange, so we'll get goofing around with the engine. First round, phase 2 is going to be supporting mods. So got a radiator, gonna do a fuel pump. Obviously the Delortos go on. This is a fairly classic car. There's not many of them around, so I want to make sure I don't do anything to absolutely irreversibly change it. I'm sure there'll be exceptions along the way. Let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is see if the radiator I bought fits. I've got a new DC brushless fan. It's a Mishimoto. Honestly, the reason I bought it is because it's fun to say Mishimoto. I wanted a Mishimoto radiator, but they don't make them for the 2002. There's so many out there on Amazon or whatever, but this one seems to be pretty good. It's a push-pull. I can set it up for my needs. The reason I'm going electric fan is I'm just getting anxiety when I am in traffic in the heat. So southwestern Ontario is pretty hot in the summer, and I don't like watching the temperature gauge climb. So I also bought off of eBay, Champion radiator. It looks like a good unit. The build quality seems pretty legit, and the price was super good. There's all kinds of other radiators out there, but you can spend $1,000 or $2,000, and then by the time I get it across the border and pay tariffs on it, it adds up. So, pull this out of the box. So it's a pretty nice unit. The welding's not bad on it. It looks like it was welded and then they go over it. My concern is with this, the out spout for the coolant going into the engine. I think on my car this is going to be too far that way and foul on the chassis. So we'll find out. So today I'm just going to get the hood off the car. I'm going to take the old radiator out and I'm going to see if this just drops in, which would be great. And then I can work on starting to mount the fan and wire that. But like I say, I suspect that this is going to have to get cut and moved in, or even a new down tube on. And it's kind of weird to buy something that you don't think is going to fit, but there's not many options out there. If you want to get into some custom stuff, yeah, you can spend $1,000, but I'm on a budget. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is cover up the rad because it's so pretty. I don't want to scuff it up with any of the ins and outs. It's going to go in and out so many times. I don't want to damage the fin. So I'm going to use the Mishimoto box to cover it up. There we go. I'm still going to be careful with it because, I mean, don't want to think it's invincible except put some cardboard on it, but I'll pop it in and out, and that way we can get to it. So next, hood comes off the car for the winter because some of the grills are going to have to come off. For fitting some of the other stuff, it'll just make working way easier anyway. So that's going to be next. Okay, next step's going to be to drain the rad. Might get a bit messy because the drain cock on my radiator is broken, so I just got to pull the hoses off. After that, it should just be 2 or 4 M10 fasteners, and should be able to pull this radiator out pretty quickly. And we'll see very quickly if the new radiator fouls on the frame rail. So here we go. The worst. At least it didn't fall into the coolant. I'm sure everybody watching the video is saying, why don't you just take the battery out? Which might be a good idea. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, there's the lower ones. Pop the top ones out. Ta-da! So this guy is pretty rough. You can see he's leaking here. If you want me to mail this to you, put a comment in the comment section, and if you pay for shipping, you can have it. How about that? Just gonna pull my right here. All right, so I'm pretty keen to see how well this new Rad fits. Let's see. Will it even clear the fan? I don't know. Might have to take the fan off. Okay, so first problem. If you're not going to run an electric fan, it's no good. Doesn't work. So, got to take the fan off. Gonna get some tools ready for that. On the bright side, my fan bolts are barely tight, so if you're looking for something to do on your car, maybe go check your fan is tight. The fan. Not gonna need that anymore. Also, my radiator is not very, or my alternator belt is not very tight, and that just popped off. One of the maintenance things I'm going to be doing later is new mount for the radiator or alternator, because it's obliterated. So hopefully I don't have to pull the whole water pump off to get this. But I mean, if it comes to that, then I can order a new water pump. That's good too. So let's see. Oh, maybe. It is definitely tight though. However, just as I suspected, that outlet, let's see if I can get a light down here. You can see it in there. The outlet is fouling on the body. I can't get it down low enough to hit the bolts. I mean, it's pretty close. If I made some new holes and had it come up a bit, it might work. But I think what's going to happen is now I got to get the light, this cut off and changed a little bit. Maybe put a little radius on there. Oh wow, is that ever tight? Like, I'm afraid with the engine rattling around, it might start to foul on the radiator. So there's something to think about there. There was two options when I bought the radiator. One was the dual core, which I think is a little bit thicker, and that's the one I bought because I wanted better cooling. The other one was a single core, and I think it's a little thinner, and that's probably one I should have bought, because when I looked at the pictures on the eBay auction, whatever, the sale, it looks like the outlet was a little bit better positioned. So I don't know, if you're going to get one of these radiators, I would probably try to get the single core, because this one's just not going to go in quickly. So unfortunately, I think that's it for today. But I mean, that's a start. The whole point that I have going on next is to do a whole bunch of test fitting so I get it right. If you start doing these engine assemblies that you don't know what's going to go on because you're looking for weird, rare parts, it's going to be a lot to try to fit in. Seems like a lot of time, but if you've ever worked on a project car, it always gets away from you, and then you're watching awesome cars drive around in the spring and you're not. So there you go. But that's the beginning. I'll keep going.